excited. Well, we're in Genesis again.
Cool.
Genesis chapter 19. 19.
Number 4.
No, I wouldn't even think of that.
Ah, yes.
Genesis 19, starting in verse 1. You all there?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to hear it too.
Wait a minute.
You got it?
Yes, okay, but you can start.
Can I? I'll catch up. Okay, Genesis 19, verse 1 says, the two angels arrived at Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gateway of the city. Okay, so first of all, who sits in the gateway of the city? Somebody that's on the council.
Yeah, that's right.
All right? They did all their governing at the gate
At the gate.
of the city.
Yes.
So judges would sit there, council members would sit there, the people who ran the government sat in the gateway. So here's Lot.
Yeah.
All right? Last time we heard about Lot, you know where he was? He was picking the best choice of Canaan.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And this is.
See, Abraham and Lot, they get to this, their people are fighting,
Yeah.
and they're saying, you know, there's not enough food for all of our sheep, and your cattle, and our cattle, and your camels. I don't even know if they have cattle.
Yeah.
But anyway, and Abraham said, Lot, you choose whatever you want to choose, and I'll take the rest.
Hallelujah. Yeah.
And Lot, being the good man that he was, selfish and everything, said, I'll take the best.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Yeah.
All right? He took the best pasture land with all the water and everything, and then he left.
Yeah.
And Abraham, God said to Abraham after Lot's left, everything you see is yours.
Everything is.
Even though Lot chose this,
I know it's going back.
he said, Abraham, everything you see is yours.
Yes.
All right? So you see, Abraham didn't lose.
No, he didn't.
All right? By being generous.
Yeah.
All right?
Yes.
Whatever you want. Just look and see. And God said, everything you see.
Is yours.
All right? So that's the last time we heard Lot.
Yes.
All right? Now, Lot is Abraham's nephew, I believe.
Yes,
I
it
think he's
It
good.
is.
Now, when Abraham was called, he was in Haran
Okay.
with his father and his mother and his brothers. Well, one brother, the other died. Right? And his cousin Lot, or his nephew Lot. God said, leave your family and your country.
Yeah.
So what's Abraham do? First thing, grabs his cousin and said, let's go.
Yes.
God's probably going, leave your family. Why's Lot coming?
Yeah, what's coming, yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Ever think about that? Why is Lot coming? Right? So anyway, okay, so now we hear about Lot again. Sodom. He's in a place called Sodom. Now Sodom has a bad rep.
Yes.
And, you know, a lot of evil in Sodom. I mean, the snake got in there real good. But anyway, Lot sitting in the city gates
Yes.
of Sodom.
Yeah.
Which, you know, okay, we'll read on a little bit more. When he saw the two angels, he got up to meet them and bowed down with his face to the ground.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. How did he know they were angels? How did he know they were angels? These two guys ate with Abraham and God at Abraham's place.
Yes.
Before they went there,
Yes.
and they were just three men.
Yes.
So they walk in. Lot recognizes these are above men. These are angels.
Yes.
Lot recognizes it. Bam, on the ground. Alright? Face down. My lords, he said, please turn aside to your servant's house. You can wash your feet and spend the night when you go your way early in the morning. Okay, so why is Lot doing this? Lot knows this city.
Yeah.
Right? He knows this city. And he's going, come to my house. You can take care of yourself. You wash your feet. Now what? You know, that's all they wash. You know?
Yeah.
Why? Because their feet were walking in the dirt. They had sandals like mine. Holy. Holy sandals, man. Anyway. Or flip-flops, whatever they were. Oh, yeah. It's really, okay, it's really hard for us to call them thongs. Okay? Because in the women, or in America, thongs are women underwear. Okay? And I remember we had Rachel with us, and she was in, I think it was Big W. She wanted a pair of flip-flops. Kim had been here 3 or 4 months by the time Rachel comes. And she yells across Big W, hey Rachel, I got thongs over here. Rachel looks at me like, what? What's Mom saying? I said, push and calm her down. Flip-flops. Oh! Anyway, so here these angels are with flip-flops. So all really dirty is their feet.
Yes.
Okay? Come to my house, wash your feet. I'll take care of you. A good person that was hospitable
Yes.
would give them water and towel to wash their feet, oil for their head to refresh them, right? And food. That's a good, in their culture, that's a good hospitable person. All right? Southern hospitality. You get fried chicken? No, I'm just kidding. Mine's really clicking tonight.
Okay.
They said, no, we'll spend the night in the square. Now, you think these angels knew about Sodom?
Yes.
He's trying to distract him.
Okay, you think they knew? Of course they knew. What are they there for? They're only there for one reason, and that's to destroy Sodom.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Right?
Hallelujah.
So, do you think that they wanted to start it that night? Maybe they wanted to start the fight that night? I have no idea. Right? They were going to stay in Town Square. Do you think that man would have been able to do what they wanted with these angels? No. Oh, okay. Anyway. So, he said, but he insisted so strongly that they did go with him and entered his house. Now, Lot is trying to save the angels. Okay?
Praise the Lord.
I'm sitting here, you know, I've only seen angels as flashes of light. Okay, I mean really seen flashes of light in the sky. Alright? I know that God said, they don't need saving. These guys, he dropped on his face to and said, my lords. Alright? So, he's stuck between two worlds. He's stuck between what he knows about Sodom and what he knows about angels. And he probably didn't have a real great, you know, master's degree in angelology. So he says, they insisted. He prepared a meal for them. Okay? Baking bread without yeast. Why? Okay, listen, when you bake bread without yeast in their culture, it means you're not staying long. Alright? Break bread without yeast. The other thing is that yeast also represents sin.
Yes, it does.
Alright?
11.
So, yours says leaven, mine says yeast.
Yeah.
Okay? It's the same word. Alright? So he says, and they ate. Before they'd gone to bed, all the men from every part of the city of Sodom, both young and old, surrounded the house. They called to Lot. Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we can have sex with them. What were we talking about? Something? Perversion of the word? Shoot. Real perverted.
Yeah.
Lot went outside to meet him. Okay? Lot, now listen, in the New Testament, what did they say about Lot? Righteous Lot.
Yeah.
Righteous Lot.
Yeah.
Living among this. And he maintained righteousness.
Oh, yeah.
He is sitting, you have to remember, he's sitting in the city gate.
Yes.
Righteous. So he is a righteous judge, if you will, of Sodom. And here we have these angels that come, and now we have all these men that want to do bad things. And Lot goes outside. Why can he go outside? Because even in evil there is still a hierarchy.
Yes.
And they recognize Lot as an official to be honored. Or at least listened to.
Listen to you.
Alright? So he goes out to these men and he says, "No, my friends, do not do this wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters that have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you. You can do whatever you want with them. But don't do anything to these men. For they have come under the protection of my roof." Alright, all the women are going, "How can you do that?" Okay. Remember culture. Women are second-class citizens, almost considered slaves.
Oh, it's okay.
Alright? Almost considered property. Like a horse or a donkey. Lot's number 1 priority is to keep these men safe.
Oh, yeah.
That's his number 1 priority. And especially since he sits in the gate.
Amen.
Alright?
Yeah.
Whatever Lot does shines on the city, reflects on the city. Okay? Remember we talked about how cities would have to maintain reputation as people would travel through them.
That's right.
Alright? Lot is trying to do that. Okay? By protecting the men that he had. Okay? So, they said, "Get out of our way." They replied and they said, "This fellow came here as an alien. Now he wants to play the judge. He sits in the city gate." Alright? "We'll treat you worse than them." They kept bringing pressure on Lot and moved toward to break down the door. But the men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the door of the house, young and old, with blindness.
Oh, yeah.
Blindness. They made seeing eyes blind. So you think they could have slept in the town square? Of course they could have.
That's right. Yeah.
Nobody's going to touch them. Alright? And I question whether this isn't a trial for Lot. You know, are you really righteous? Now you have to, okay, first of all, you have to remember the argument God had with Abraham before these angels went to Sodom. Do you remember the argument? Abraham said to God, God said, "I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah."
Yes.
And Abraham said, "Well, if there are 50 righteous men in Sodom and Gomorrah, will you destroy them? Still?" And God said, "Well, if there's 50, no, I won't." Okay, and then Abraham comes back, he says, "Okay, if there's 45, would you destroy it?" "Well, if I find 45 righteous men, I won't." He gets all the way down to 10.
Yes.
"Okay, God, now, I don't mean to try your patience, but if there's 10 righteous men, would you destroy them?" And God said, "If I can find 10 righteous men," can you believe this? In a whole city, if I can find 10 righteous men, I won't destroy it. So here they are. What are they doing? They're seeing if Lot's righteous.
Yeah.
They're seeing if Lot's righteous. Is he worth saving? Alright?
Okay.
So, they pulled Lot back inside. They made the guys blind. The 2 men said to Lot, Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-laws, daughters, anyone else in the city who belongs to you? They're looking for 10 men.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're looking for 10. We're just keeping it in context.
Yep.
All right? They're looking for 10 people. Do you have 10? A lot? Okay. Get them and get out of here, because we are going to destroy this place. The outcry of the Lord, the outcry to the Lord. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that He has sent us to destroy it. Who's crying out? Who's crying out to God that this city is so wicked? Lot, probably.
Yeah.
Seriously. If he is a righteous man, you think he's not praying for that city?
Yeah.
You're supposed to pray for the town you live in. Right? Sometimes I know it's hard. But we're supposed to pray for them. So you think Lot's not crying out to God against the evil that's in Sodom? Oh, but he is. Alright? Who else? Well, you know what? Any visitor that ever went there probably got that same treatment.
Yes.
Alright? Do you realize that when they have in prison, they call a group of people sodomites? That's where you get forced. Alright? So that's what they did. They forced their way on people. Alright? So, you can imagine every visitor that went there cried out to the Lord about the evil that's going on there. It's horrible. Of course it's horrible. Alright? So, really didn't want to talk about this in a sermon, but anyway. But it all comes to a point.
It does, yes.
Alright? It all comes to a point. Alright? Get them, get out of here, because we're going to destroy it. The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-laws, who were pledged to be married to his daughters. So he had 2 sons-in-laws. Okay? They're already called sons-in-laws, and they're not really said the vows yet, because of their culture. Once they're betrothed, they might as well be married, because they have to get a divorce to not marry. Alright? According to their culture. They're already bound together once they're betrothed. Okay? So he says, I have 2 sons-in-laws to my daughters that are supposed to get married. And you're going, how can that be? Because we're in our culture, and they're in theirs. Alright? So we're going to go back and see where we're at. Alright. So, he said, hurry, get out of this place, because the Lord's going to destroy the city. But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. Okay. They thought he was joking. Why? They didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to believe that their town that they love, maybe they're like the rest of these guys, it's going to get destroyed. I mean, imagine, living there. Imagine, I don't know how much you love Cobargo. I'm not in love with Rushford. But I was in love with Broomfield, where I grew up. There were bad things in Broomfield, but there was good things in Broomfield. But it wasn't all bad. But I would be upset if the Lord was going to destroy Broomfield. That was my home, So they thought he was joking, because they didn't want to believe that God would destroy their home. Okay? Someplace they felt comfortable. Alright? You see, that's the problem with evil over and over and over again. You get comfortable in it. Right? And you don't realize it's evil anymore. Okay? You get blinders put on you. Right? And so, that's what his sons-in-laws have. Okay? And so, when the coming of dawn, the angels urged Lot, saying, hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished. Verse 16. When he hesitated, the men grasped his hand in the hands of his wife and 2 daughters, and led them safely out of the city. Lot hesitated.
Yeah.
Yes. Amen.
So what does a righteous person hesitate for? See, I thought about this a lot. What does a righteous person hesitate for when they live in Sodom? He prayed for that city, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't he pray for that city? I mean,
He got the best.
if he's righteous,
Yeah.
Sodom wasn't part of that land.
Yeah.
Okay, but Sodom's just a city.
Yeah.
So, if Lot is righteous, he's praying for the town he lives in.
Yeah. That's
All
right.
right, and he wants his prayers to be answered.
Yes.
Okay, he would probably think, and this is me. Okay, I don't know this. I'm not talking a lot. Right? But I'm sitting here talking to God, and I'm going, well, maybe he wanted God to change Sodom
Yeah.
rather than just destroy it.
Yeah. Okay, you get it.
Come on, God. Surely, surely you can change, Dictator Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Surely you can change him. Here's my prayer. It says pray for the leadership, right? It's over you. God, change him or get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's the way I pray. I want to change to be like God, but if they're not going to change, get them out the door.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Lot hesitates.
Yes.
Because, if you pray for something, this is why Jesus said pray for your enemies.
Yeah.
If you pray for something, you stop hating it.
Yes.
Yeah. You do.
If you pray for something, you actually start getting feelings for it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's why Jesus said pray for your enemies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like heaping burning coals on their head.
Yeah.
Why? Because now they hate you, but you don't hate them anymore.
Yeah.
That's got to be burning coals if somebody hates you.
Yeah.
Why are they so nice to me? Right?
Yeah.
So Lot hesitates. But those angels grabbed him by the hand and took him out of the city. Escorted him out of the city.
Yeah.
And as soon as they brought them out, one of them said, flee for your lives, don't look back,
Yes.
and do not stop anywhere in the plain. Flee to the mountains, or you will be swept away. Why? Why go to the mountains? Everything?
It's safe.
You'll be swept away. Does it sound like, that if it rains a lot, you're going to have a flood?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right. You're going to have a flood. What's going to rain on Sodom? Burning sulfur.
Brimstone.
You're going to have a flood of burning sulfur.
Yes.
Go high.
Yeah.
All right?
Brimstone.
Go high. Get where it's safe, Lot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's Lot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go to the mountains.
That's the part.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
It's like, but Lot said to him, no, my lords, please. Your servant has found favor in your eyes,
Yes.
and you've shown great kindness to me in sparing my life. But can I flee? But I can't flee to the mountains. This disaster will overtake me and I'll die. Okay, wait. Why does he think that?
Yeah.
Why does he think that? Because, now think about it though, okay? Here's Lot, who's prayed for his city.
Yeah.
If he's in the mountains, you think he can see everything that goes on? This disaster will overtake me or overwhelm me,
Yeah.
and I'll die. Because these people may be evil, but I've done my best for them. This is a lot of my opinion. This is what I think he's thinking. Okay? So he says, let me flee. Let's see, he says, look, there's a town here to run to, and it's small. Let me flee to it. It is very small, isn't it? Then my life will be spared. He said to him, very well, I'll grant you this request too. 2. What other request did he grant him? Life.
Life, yes.
He came to save you. The angels came to destroy the city but save Lot. Alright?
Yeah.
Now, remember when I told you when we read the Old Testament, it's to find God's character.
Yes.
What does God do? What does God do in situations? Alright? You're living in Sodom. You're going to call it whatever you want, you know? Call it Rushworth or wherever. Angry Flat. Hopefully it's not as bad as Sodom. But anyway. And it's going to be destroyed. Look around. Everything you know, and it's going to be gone. Everything you know is going to be gone. Let me go to a small town. Why? Because it's like where I was. It's what I'm used to. Alright? It's kind of like, you know, Faith and I were talking about the UN people. They're coastal people.
Yeah.
You put them in the mountains and it's not what they're used to. Right? They'd rather eat mussel fish, which I don't even know what it looks like. But they like it. You know, they don't eat witchetty grubs. I wouldn't eat those either. Found one this big in the wood. I was chopping this last week. I couldn't believe it. Paul was that big. About 4 inches, about an inch in diameter. My God. There's a meal for somebody. Oh, it's moving around. They're going to have to shoot it first. No. Anyway.
You can have one shade.
So by the time Lot reached Zoar, okay, let's see, very well. But flee there quickly. Zoar means little town. By the time they reached Zoar, the sun had risen over the land, and the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain. Not just the city itself, but the entire plain. That's why he told them, don't go in the plain, because you've got to get high. You've got to get away from this, because this is not just going to be a cloudburst over one place. We're going to shotgun this. Alright? We're going to make sure we get them all. Thus he overthrew these cities in the entire plain, including those living in the cities, and also the vegetation in the land. You see, what had happened is that land got cursed because of the people.
Yes.
Didn't Adam get the land cursed?
Yes.
Like we talked about this morning? So their evil got the land cursed
Yeah.
by what they did. You're all with me. But Lot's wife looked back,
Yeah.
and she became a pillar of salt.
Yes.
There was no warning. He said, don't look back, but he didn't say, or you'll be a pillar of salt. He just said, don't look back. I mean, would you like justice to be that fast? You disobeyed, you're salt. I mean, I actually felt sorry for her. You know, when I read this, she looks back. And so, you know, I wrote down all these things, okay. Oh, why did he hesitate? I wrote, well, his wife. Maybe his wife really loved the town. Maybe she'd given her heart to the town. Maybe his sons-in-laws. They didn't want to come. They thought he was joking. Maybe you really like those guys. Maybe you didn't want to lose all the possessions. Remember, you had a lot. Right? Why not go to the mountains? Fear someone would escape, fear of being alone? I don't know. Why did she look back? In love with evil? Was she in love with evil?
Yeah. She was frightened of what she was doing.
Was she friends with evil? Did she really not want to leave it? See, her heart was attached to the Lord.
Yes.
Okay? And it's a lot like, when people come to Jesus, they come to him and he's going, we were talking about this the other day, the people go and they'll go and they'll go until Jesus hits their favorite sin.
Yeah.
The one they like. The one they don't want to let go of.
Yeah.
And here they are. Here's Lot. Uh-oh. We've gotten into the sin I like. And I don't want to go with it. I don't want to leave it. See, that's what's neat about your testimony, is that you didn't have to leave it. God just took it. It's the same thing happened with me. I chewed tobacco for 23 years. And I take that can and throw it into the woods as far as I can throw it. 2 hours later, I'm looking through the woods trying to find that. But 23 years. And one day God took it away and I didn't even ask. Haven't wanted to chew since. It's a good thing because you don't sell the stuff down here. I'd have to import it. But anyway. See how much I really thought about that. So, but you see, the thing about it is I really think what got her is what gets a lot of people. Right? She was curious. And her curiosity led her to rebellion. It happens to lots of people. Alright? See, I had a friend who was very smart individual. He wanted to be some kind of an engineer. Alright? And he got to uni. And he wanted every advantage. And this guy said, here, take this pill. It'll make you smarter. He took that pill, and it was LSD. And I don't know if he's out of the insane asylum yet. But the curiosity of it, could this pill really make me smarter? Led to doing it, led to rebellion against everything you taught. His parents taught him well. His parents taught him, drugs will kill you. But you see, or the curiosity of, smoking weed, or the curiosity of drinking, or the curiosity of, sex before marriage, that kind of stuff. Especially if you're raised in a Christian home, it's not right.
Yeah.
But the curiosity leads you to the rebellion.
Yes.
And I think that's what happened to her. She knew she wasn't supposed to look back. Alright? She did. She knew she wasn't supposed to look back. But can you imagine running out of that place and hearing it? Can you imagine hearing sulfur rain down?
Yeah.
Smelling it? Because you can smell sulfur. That's what they put in natural gas. So you know it's there. Right? Smells horrible.
Yeah.
Rotten eggs.
Rotten.
Can you imagine a whole sky filled with that?
Horrible.
When the words "don't look back" get smaller and smaller and smaller, but what is that smell?
Better run fast.
Yeah. I bet it was hot too.
Yes.
Okay, so why did she look back? So that we all look back. God says, "Come into my kingdom. Come into my kingdom and stay." All right?
Yes.
And we sing a song called "We Burned Our Ships." All right? We burned our ships upon the shore, right? Why? Why did we burn ships? Because ships are your retreat. Back to the old life. It's like leaving a door open, the back door open, so you can always go back. You can always trip back, your old friends will take you back. You know that. They were my friends for a long time. I was like, oh, he was crazy for a little bit, Thought he'd go try Jesus, And then we're going, I've gotten to that reality of Jesus, and he wants my special sin. Now what do I do? Is that door still open? Do I have a ship? Is there a ship maybe moored at the dock, I can go around? Because this Jesus guy, he's wanting everything.
He wants to go.
There he does. Right? But we all do it. Every one of us has that time when we're going to come face to face with Jesus and face to face with the reality of, I have to let everything go.
Yes.
Everything in my life has to go. I have to let it go and leave it in Jesus' hands.
Amen.
Right? You know the old song, take my burden to the Lord and leave it there, right? Although everybody sings burdens and leave it there. You ever notice that? Take my burdens to the Lord and leave it there. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway. But they take their burdens to the Lord, and before they leave the church, they pick them up and put them back in their pocket. It's like I had this one friend, he brought pictures of his kids, and he left them on the altar, right? And then they come back and say, I left my kids on the altar. I said, oh, great, And then before we leave, he goes, better go get those pictures. It's like, you just left them on the altar. Well, but they're my pictures. I said, no, those are your kids. You see, if he'd picked those back up, he'd have just told Jesus, forget everything I just said. I'll take care of it myself. And we do that all the time, don't we? We do that all the time. We say, Jesus, take whatever, the most famous thing is our relationships, right? Take his relationship, Jesus, and then we do everything we can to fix it. Well, Jesus is going, why don't you work on my relationship first?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's Lot's wife. She is showing all of us that if we were in that situation, most of us would be pillars of salt.
Yes.
Let's just be honest. We'd be pillars of salt.
Amen.
Alright? Lot is a righteous fellow. He got out of there without looking back. He obeyed. I mean, come on, Lot has done a lot of things here that are right. I guess that's what makes him righteous. He's done a lot of things that are right. He actually obeyed. I mean, come on. When was the last time you just asked God, what should I do? And he tells you and you don't like the answer. The first thing that comes across your mind is an answer that you didn't want to hear. Oh, that must have come from the devil. that thought's from the devil. That can't be from God. Because the devil doesn't want me happy. And I know if I take it back, I'm going to be happy. But we did that. When God says, work on me. Work on me. Then work on him. Right? Listen to God. And sometimes it may sound like it's really, really hard. When I came to God, after I'd been to revival, and I came home and my wife came in and she said she cheated on me. For 2 weeks she was down there, this other fella, She had long blonde hair and Levi jeans. And I was going to grab her by the hair in the back of the jeans and throw her out the door. I was on the way and walking right at her. And I heard God say, forgive her now. What? The only time I've ever heard an audible voice from God. Forgive her now. It's loud too. Deep. But forgive her. So I said, okay, we'll work this out. Last thing I ever wanted to hear myself say. We'll work this out. Now the devil's in a quandary because he thought he had me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought he had me there. And he was going to win.
Yeah.
I was going to do something stupid and violent and really get in trouble. You know?
Yep.
And then God just flipped the tables on him and said, forgive him now. It's like, the devil's going, that boy, listen.
How do you do that for?
You're messing up my plan. She ended up leaving anyway. But you know, the thing about it is that I have peace.
Yes.
There's no bitterness in me.
No.
I've been married, I married Kim about a year and a half after that. Alright? And I've been married to her for about a half a year, maybe a little longer. And that woman called me at 11 o'clock at night, asking me what to do in her life. And I talked to her for 45 minutes. And I said, I really want what's best for you. You need to find Jesus.
Yeah.
The devil didn't know what to do with that either.
No.
Exactly.
Because he thought he'd just throw her back in my face, you know, and muck me up with my wife, you know. It's like, it don't work when you listen to God. Alright? Now, if Lot's wife would have just listened, she'd still be here.
Yes.
Okay? So, anyway. So early the next morning, Abraham got up, returned to the place where he stood before the Lord, and he looked around toward Sodom and Gomorrah, toward the land of the plain, and saw the dense smoke rising from it, smoke like from a furnace. So God destroyed the cities of the plain, and he remembered Abraham, and he brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot lived. And you know what Abraham said to himself? Guess he didn't find two people. You ever think that? I mean, you know, he gets out, he sees the fire, and goes, guess there wasn't 10 people in righteous down there. Gonna have to text Lot, see how he's doing though. But you see the thing, okay, what can we learn from Lot? Alright? Lot lived righteous even among the most evil of cities that ever existed. And he still maintained righteousness. Okay? He didn't fall in love with it. He still kept his relationship with God. Alright? And so you're going to have times in your life, especially with the way the world's changing. Okay, with the way the internet is and the IT garbage that's going everywhere, you know. Oh man, I can tell you how many things I've heard about COVID and how many things I've heard you got to get the vaccine and how many times you don't get the vaccine because it'll kill you. And oh my gosh!
Yes, exactly.
I was looking at the emails at church, you know, and they pinned Pastor Oliver for some dating site. He's got like 3 or 4 lined up. All he's got to do is sign, you know. Ain't a bill. Well, that's the truth, right? So anyway, see. But in the midst of everything that goes on, it doesn't matter what the media tells you. It doesn't matter what the news tells you. It doesn't matter what your government tells you. The only thing that matters is what God tells you.
Yes.
Because everybody else will lie to you.
Oh, yes.
They are going to lie to you. Why? Because they're selfish, self-centered people. And they only want what they can have. And they don't care about you just like the devil. The devil doesn't care about you. The only thing he cares about is your loyalty. He wants your loyalty away from God. Any way he can get it, he will do it. You see, Lot's wife did not have loyalty to God. And the devil got her. She whispered in her ear, "What's that smell?
Yeah.
Don't you want to see what's going on? Why your husband got you out of bed so early? See, you've got to be able to stand in the midst of all this.
Yes.
You've got to be able to stand in the midst of all this. And I'm going to tell you something. That's why this is so important. Because this is what truth is. Okay? This is what truth is. And you got to be careful nowadays, because a new publisher has bought the rights to the NIV and they're taking scriptures out.
Yes,
Alright? They're taking scriptures out. They just don't fit with their theology.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to be careful with what you do. Alright? Make sure every verse is in there, because when they take the verse out, you know what? They take the number away too.
yes.
Yes.
Okay? Just thought I'd let you know. If you're missing a number, then there's a verse that's missing.
Yeah.
Alright?
That's it.
So, Zondervan, or whatever is the name of the publisher. Okay? Just be careful. But you see, it's part of the media. Right? It's part of the media. They're going to lie to you
Yes.
to get you to go their way.
Yes.
Right? Now, what are you going to do? Right? In James, go all the way to James. Chapter 4 of James. Verse 7. Well, let's do verse 6 first. It says, "But he gives us more grace. That is why Scripture said, God opposes the proud and gives grace to the humble." 7. Verse, submit yourselves to God.
Yes.
Verses. Submit. Wait, you gotta get this in first.
Yep.
Submit yourself to God. Do you know what it means to submit?
Commit yourself.
If you submit, that means everything He tells you, you do.
Yes.
If you submit, that means you give up all your wants. You give up all your desires. You give up everything. If you are submitting to God. Alright? You don't exist anymore. Submit yourself to God, then resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
Amen.
It's not say, God, I'll follow you. That devil get away. It is, God, whatever you want. Whatever you want. I lay my life down. Whatever you want, I lay it all before you. Then, I saw a real great saying. It says, those who kneel before God can stand against anything. Those who kneel before God will stand against anything. That's right. You submit yourself to God, then you can resist the devil and he'll flee. If you think you can go halfway on this and just, that's kind of like the old thing I used to say, the cost of the kingdom of God is? It's your whole life.
Yes.
Right? That's the cost. But there's so many people that are trying to refinance and get the payments to be lower. It's the old three-legged pig thing.
Yeah.
You give them all. You give God everything. Then you can resist the devil. You can stand. And why does the devil flee? If you completely submitted to God, who's the devil seeing? God! He already knows what happens then. He gets kicked out. God has this permanent eviction sign. So you see, you can act righteous. You can be righteous in the middle of evil.
Yes.
And that's good. But the only way you're going to do that is if you maintain the relationship with God. You can obey God's word by submitting your life to God. Do you understand? See, I remember when I heard that law, it really struck me. Because there's so many people that are trying to be righteous, trying to be good little Christians in the middle of evil. But they're trying.
Yes.
Yeah. They're trying to do it themselves. You know? It's kind of like, I'll end on this story. There was a man that lived in this cabin in the mountains. And he told God told him, he says, now listen, every morning I want you to go out and I want you to push on this boulder. Okay? Every morning, go out and push on this boulder. He obeyed. Every morning he went out and he pushed and he pushed and he pushed. After about 5 years, the devil come to him. But I noticed you've been pushing on this rock. Yeah? You haven't moved it an inch. He goes, you're right, I haven't. But that evening he's talking to God. He's going to say, God, I've been pushing on this rock for 5 years and I haven't moved it an inch. God said, I didn't tell you to move it. I told you to push on it. Why don't you look at your hands? They're calloused. Look at your back, how strong it is. Look at your will, how strong it is. You want that rock moved? Ask me. You see, it looked futile to push on the rock. But it's total submission to God to do it without asking why.
Exactly.
You see?
Oh, yeah.
So you can stand in the midst of anything if you're totally submitted to God. Let's stand. Make sense?
Yes.
So, as I always try to say, what are we going to do now? Because you know what? Most of us are caught, if not all of us are caught.
Yes.
We really haven't submitted to God anything.
No.
All right, we may have submitted Him our mornings. All right, God, I'll give you half an hour. I'll listen to worship music and maybe I'll pray for 5 minutes. But at least I'm giving you something every day. Right? So what's in the way? What is in the way of you submitting? You. You. That's all. So it's really easy. It's really easy. Get rid of you and you can submit to God. It's easy. So you really try it. You see, the thing is, though, is that if you try it all by yourself, you're going to fail.
Yes.
The rock will never move. Alright? But if you say, God, I want to give you my life. That's the desire of my heart. I want to give you my life. The Bible says He'll give you the desires of your heart.
Yes. Exactly.
Right? Well, if the desire of your heart is to give your life to God, God will help you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But it's like, it's like we talked about baptism before, remember? When that old man wants to get up, you got to put your foot back on his head and stick him back under the water. Yeah. When we totally submit to God, you can stand in the midst of any evil.
Oh, yeah.
It may not be fun,
No.
but you can do it. If you totally submit to God, then you will totally obey God. And then you can submit and you can resist the devil, and there's nothing he can do. There is nothing he can say. There is no thought. There is no dream. There is nothing that the enemy can bring on you. So, Father, I want to give my life to you. You want to do that with me? I want to give my life to you.
belong to you.
I want to follow you.
I want to follow you.
I want to be with you.
I want to be with you.
I don't want to lose.
I don't want to lose.
I'm tired of getting kicked around.
I'm tired of getting kicked around.
I need to be with you.
I need to be with you.
I want to obey.
I want to obey.
I want to walk with you.
I want to walk with you.
I want to talk with you.
I want to talk with you.
I want to listen to you.
I want to listen to you.
I'm tired of listening to the enemy.
I'm tired of listening.
I'm tired of getting bloody noses.
I'm tired of getting bloody noses.
I need you.
I need you.
And you alone.
And you alone.
I want to submit to you.
I want to